Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. We are here in Rite, and I think this quest is a beast tribe, and we definitely need a crafter for this. And considering that Ulyss and Siluk are standing here, I suspect we need to finish the Rite quest line with those two, and the one with the dwarves, with the... I forgot his name. Doesn't matter. Sorry, my friend. Bugger my beard. You scared the life out of me. For a moment I thought you were a hobgoblin. Seems being so far from Tom has got me jumping at shadows. Hold on, I know you. You're the one who was helping Ronitt. As for me, my name is Ragged. I forgot to introduce myself before, but I was there when that off little lad gave his first proper lally-ho. What, you don't remember me? In all fairness, the fact you've covered from head to toe in identical outfits does make it a little difficult to tell one dwarf from the next. Well, they have their ways and we have ours. Anyway, it's wonderful to see you again, Serenia. Ragged was just asking us for directions. I'd almost forgotten about that. Actually, I was on my way to, what was it called? Crystal Town? No, that's not it. Something to do with crystals. Why can't I remember the sorting name? You see, Ronitt is nowhere to be found. He did leave a note behind on Tomra, though. Yes, the letter. I have it right here. To whoever might be concerned, I'm off to the Crystarium to find my first and best friend Serenia. If the chief asks where I've gone, just make something up. The automata will take care of my work, so we should have no reason to complain. Oh, and don't forget to feed them while I'm away. With coal, that is. Bye. That's what it says anyway. That boy may have mastered the fine art of good old-fashioned lally-ho, but it won't get him very far in the whatever it's called. Yes, and even if the opening pleasantries go as planned, it's what comes after that matters most. He'd be the first to admit that polite conversation isn't exactly his forte. Since he went where looking for Serenia, maybe the two of you could go and find him before he gets into, or causes, any trouble? That reminds me, will Ronitt being away lead to any difficulties in the rock phosphate for grog arrangement between our villages? The Orhond ogre he built seems to be going about its work as normal, even without him here to operate it, so I think we'll be fine for the time being. Alright, that settles us. We're off to find Ronitt, although I should probably point out that this is actually the first time I've gone more than a mile or so outside of Tomra. I'm counting on you, so please try to keep the mishaps and misadventure to a bare minimum. Not that I'm scared, mind you. Another one, but without any further ado, let's make haste for the Crystarium. We wish you both a safe journey to the Crystarium. In the Crystarium. And there's Regit. I've never seen so many people in one place. Unfortunately, not one of them is our errant engineer. Where could he be? I wouldn't be surprised if he's whimpering in some corner, wishing he'd never come here. With all these big folks walking about, he's probably scared one of them will trip over him. Well, slap my ass and call me a fuka. You're the second honest-to-God dwarf I've seen today. Really? So, where's the first? Oh, that mean, playing hide-and-seek by the looks of it. Or maybe he was just lost? That's him, got to be. Come on, Serenia, let's go and nap him before he runs off again. The crystalline mean. So this is a mean, eh? From the name I thought be full of scowling faces, but they all seem quite friendly. Anyway, where's Ronitt get to? Ha! Found him! Crying? So many of them. So sudden tall. I wish Serenia were here.
Beep. Serenia detected.
Serenia! And one over. Hey, watch that short ass. So, when you heard that Serenia is staying in the crystarium, you came here looking for. Quite the journey for one so young. Getting here was easy. Starting conversations was hard. Every time I try giving someone a good old-fashioned lally-ho, they look at me like I'm daft or something. Never mind that. You found Serenia in the end. Or she found you, more like. Come to think of it, why were you looking for her in the first place? It's simple, really. I always thought Serenia just I don't know, helpful traveler or some such, but the chief tells me she's a hero who risked life and limb to save the world. When I heard that, I thought it's only right that I do the same. Trouble is, I'm not sure where to start, but I'm not going back to Tomo until I find a way to prove myself your equal. And while I'm not much of a fighter, there are other ways I can help those in need, because unlike the rest of my village who can't think beyond the next pint of ale, I've got big dreams, ambitions. No. There's nothing wrong with a well-earned drink or 10 after a hard day's work, but that's beside the point. How can you hope to compete with someone like Serenia? You might be known as the greatest warrior the world's ever seen. But there's one thing I can do better than you. Crafting! I'm a crafter too, you fluffy bearded nincompoop. What? You must be joking! Why, Serenia has been putting her skills as a goldsmith to help around the mean for some time now. Liza, I haven't even started that yet. I wanted to start that today. Trust me to make friends with one of those annoying people who's good at everything. I suppose there's no need to make it into competition though. Why don't we, what's the word, cooperate? There might be someone around here who needs our help. How about you, miss? Got anything that needs mending? Or maybe one of my patented automata to carry out a few menial tasks? Where to begin? We did receive a report a few days ago of a caravan of merchants being attacked by roving sin-eaters not far from Sullen. While they were able to escape without any casualties, they had no choice but to abandon almost all the produce they were transporting. I fear it's only a matter of time until it happens again. Is there anything you can do? Sin-eaters? Bugger that. This fetch-o-matic mecha toad might come in handy. A few extra spiky bits should do the trick. Second thought, it might take more than that. I need somewhere to use as a workshop to carry out some modifications. You mean to say you built these things yourself? It certainly is imposing. In a way, only a free-wheeled mechanical frog can be. Now there's a fine compliment if I ever heard one, I think. This example of Dwarven engineering was lovingly crafted by young Ronitt here. He's a descendant of a great blacksmith Watts, and well on his way to becoming the pride of Tonwa in his own right. Yes, judging by the quality of his works, I can see why. In fact, I have a proposal. If you're willing to lend us your expertise, we can arrange space for you to use as a workshop. Really? When I say space, that's essentially all there is. We planned on to build a storehouse near the Austral Imperative, but we had to divert our resources elsewhere, and it was never completed. It seems to me you'd put it to good use. After all, a friend of Serenius is a friend of ours. That's very generous of you, miss. I'll turn the place into a first-class workshop in 2 shakes of a newborn beard. Excellent. I'll inform those at the Imperative if you aren't too surprised when automata start appearing out of the blue. I suggest you make yourself known to Lorathia, who owns the place. She's a regular at the Clear Melt Springs, so try her first. Sounds like some meeting and greetings in order. I reckon it'll go a lot smoother if you're there to cover for me in the likely event I put my foot in my mouth somehow. I also have no bloody idea how to get there, so lead the way. Clear melt. Lightly boiled woman. So this Clement, huh? Funny name for a bunch of rocks and a couple of ponds, if you ask me. More importantly, there's the Lorathia person. You there, old crone? I'm looking for Lorathia. You know where she is? Call me an old crone again, I rip that silly beard off and shove it down your throat, you mouthy little gobshite. But if it's Lorathia, I feel you're looking at her. What do you want? Kettle sent you, did she? If she thinks you're alright, that's good enough for me. So tell me, what are you planning to make in this workshop of yours? And don't go thinking you can impress me with a load of technical jargon. I was an engineer myself, you know. I'm gonna modify this here automaton so it can transport goods and keep them safe from sin eaters. It won't be transporting much of anything with those stubby little arms, let alone fend for itself. And even if it could store goods in its torso, by the time it's done windmilling into the bastards, all those wares would have been shaken to buggery. Good luck to the poor sods who have to sell that. Yeah, but the windmilling is the best part. Ronitt, the old woman has a point, you know. Less of the old, or use that beard of yours to scrub the baths, with the rest of you still attached. So we need a way to carry as much as possible while striking the sin eaters from a distance. That's it. Everyone gather around. Wicked white. It's so old the ink's probably the only thing holding it together. The designs from the days before the flood, the brainchild of a great Watts himself. It's a self-propelled transportation device armed to the teeth. I call it the Rolling Tankard. Its thick iron shell keeps the cargo inside safe and sound, while the cannon blasts any attackers to smithereens. That's an amazing coincidence that you had the perfect solution in your pocket this whole time, even before you knew what the problem was. That ain't no coincidence. Ever since I found a bunch of blueprints in a tightly locked safe back when I was little, I've taken them with me wherever I go. Never know when what ideas might come in handy. Because I'm not just gonna make one of these, oh no. I make a whole bunch of them and send them all over Northrend. Soon everyone will see how great Dwarven engineering really is. But this only shows how it should look from the outside, with no mention of the inner workings. Are you sure you can pull it off? I'd bet my beard on it. And to be honest, Dwarven technology has come a long way since Watt's time. He probably didn't design the insides because there was no way to actually make something like this back then. Luckily, we've got my skills to bring Watt's idea to life.
I'll have a prototype up and running in no time.
Listen, Ronitt, you're not the only one who knows how to swing a hammer around here. If we combine our efforts, it'll be ready even sooner.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. I must say I'd be interested to see how this all turns out. I'll let you use my land, as long as you don't turn it into a smoldering crater.
You want to get us, but if we're to build a workshop, we need a few more pairs of hands. I'll head back to Tomo and round up some volunteers.
Hold it right here. If this place is going to be overrun with dwarves, at least give me some way to tell you apart. How am I meant to know who's who if you're all dressed like that?
I'm not sure if you realize this, madam, but we dwarves don't exactly have extensive wardrobes. But in the interest of a smooth running operation, I asked my friend Karut if there's anything we can do.
So much for helping. Much like a pugger off back to Tomo and leave poor Ronitt to do everything by himself. Well, you're still here, so you can give me a hand instead. Let's go and take a look at this plot of land, shall we? That land used to belong to a relative of mine, who moved to Crystarium to get away from the Sin Eaters. Since then, I've been at a loss as what to do with it. Not exactly inundated with potential tenants, as you can well imagine. So, our plan is to build a tank, yeah? And I wonder here, Ronitt is a descendant of Watts, and considering that he was such a great engineer or whatever, if that was this world's version of Wedge. Welcome to the workshop, or workshop to be, I suppose I should call it. Either way, this is where Watt's vision will become reality. Although I have to admit, it's not gonna be as easy as I made it out. Having you here does make the task seem less daunting, though. Even though I was a bit miffed at first to hear you're into crafting as well, stealing my fun and all that, I'm glad we've got something in common. If you can lend a hand between whatever it is a Warrior of Darkness does, the rest of the time, it would mean the world to me. So, what do you say, Serenia? Will you help me?
No. Build your own damn tanks. What the world needs now is tanks. 3 tanks. Of course I help.
Oh, I was worried you was gonna say no for a moment there. Now, let's make some tanks. But before that, there are a few things we need to get in order. We won't get much work done without something at least resembling a workshop. If you're in the mood for helping, maybe you could rustle me up some basic parts? Got a list of everything I need. Anyone with even a passing interest in metalworking should be able to manage it, so I'm sure you'll be fine. As another example of my incredible foresight, I've already had the Fetch-O-Matic Mechatoad collect a load of random, potentially very useful, materials on the way over. This should be enough. If you somehow manage to bugger it up, don't worry, we've got plenty more. I'll be taking care of the rest of the preparation, so come and see me when you're done. Beast Tribe quests, dwarfs, workshop supplies. All done? Let's see what you bought me then. Gotta say, I wasn't expecting to be quite this good. Not showing off, are you? Me and the Mechatoad will take care of the rest, so you go and put your feet up for a bit. Don't want you taking all the credit now. There you are. Welcome to What's Anvil.
The two of you did all this? Can't believe it. Is that you, Ronitt? Why, I hardly recognized you. Have you done something with your beard?
Well spotted, Carrot. According to the legends, Watts had a brown beard and white horns. Seeing as I'm his descendant, I thought I'd follow suit. Now if we've got proper workshop, we can get started on making a prototype of a rolling tankard. To tell the truth, I'm not used to having this sort of pressure. Still, I've got you and the others here to do the heavy lift, essential tasks, so I'm sure everything will go exactly as planned.
Speaking of essential tasks, I'll be handling the supplies of the various parts and whatnot, so come and see me when you're ready to show us those skills of yours.
Ronitt and his fellow dwarves have thrown themselves wholeheartedly into their newest enterprise, namely to provide trundling death machines for the needy. It was someone from the other dwarf tribe. And so far they were hostile to us, and I even played a side quest where they had robbed a person or something. You have achieved friendly reputation with What's Anvil. You may now purchase wares from Mizut. Okay, Dwarven crafts.
As you know, we're going to need a bloody mountain of bits and pieces to make our tanks, and bugger me for soldiers the castle didn't kindly offer to help out. So in exchange for them sharing their supplies, we promised to fix up their gear and whatnot. A little give and take, you understand? I've already sent a tinkerer over to Ostel to start repairing equipment, but he's working all on his own, could probably use a hand. And look, you've got two of them. Clean beard, clear mind. Considering the nature of our work, it's unavoidable that the anvil accumulates its fair share of oil and grime, but as we labor away at our tasks, all that filth finds its way into our whiskers. A dwarf can't be expected to concentrate while a spear resembles a cotton ball dragged through a puddle of mud. And the worst of it, we are always running low on grooming supplies. I need you to find our procurer over at Fort Job and help him stock up on beard care essentials. This is an emergency. So you've been wondering about the anvil for a while now. Out of all the myriad materials we produce here, which do you reckon is one we use for most on our day-to-day basis? If you guessed steel plates, then congratulations. Seems your eyes are as keen as your hands. Indeed, the sound of a hammer on steel is the sound of creation here at the anvil. The birth of anything from a simple chest to a tank fit for combat. Just like your eyes and your hands, I suppose, your mind is keen enough to gather what I might be asking of you next one. We're constantly running low on steel sheets, and the whole of the anvil would be grateful if you made a few for us. Go and see our smithy over at Weathering, and tell him I sent you.
Let's go to the base first.
Oh, the dragon sent you too? Brilliant. I've plenty of arms and armor to knock back into shape, but not enough parts to mend them. I'd appreciate if you could take these scraps and put together 3 repair kits for mending blades, spearheads and the like. The automata will cover up more materials if you need them.
Otherwise you can drop them in my lab when you're done.
Leo, you have those repair kits I need? Ah, that's the stuff. In fact, these kits might be better quality than the gear I'm in to fix. Right, I'd best get to work. You can head on back to Regid and tell him we're holding up our side of the bargain.
I take it you have a crafter who's meant to save my ass, as Regid put it. He was quite effusive in regards to your skill, in his way, and even if half his blustering is true, then I'm glad to have you. Materials we can gather here are altogether different from those we have in Colusia, and we have our hands full trying to keep up with increasing demands. Any way you could help us would be a godsend. I think a few ingots ought to help us along. 3 to be precise. This ore I've procured should suffice, but if for whatever reason you run out of materials, just get more from the automaton. Once you finish, bring the materials to Regid at once. Doubtless he's eager to begin ramping up production. Later. Let's teleport just. Fort drop is far enough away to justify that. And it's right there.
Leo, Regid getting impatient, is he? The Fort job folk just traded me a bundle of choice materials you can get straight to crafting. Here, see if you can't use something in that lot to forge a pair of trimming scissors. The mecha told us more bits and bobs in reserve should you need them. Now I was going to ask you to visit me when you're finished, but you might as well deliver those kits directly to Regid. Hopefully I get the chance to grow my own beard once I get back.
And am I blind? Yeah, steel plate component. Okay. Our deal with the neighbors is okay?
Back already, are you? How fares our tinkerer? That sounds like he's well pleased with your contribution. Thanks for that, Serenian. We're guests in this neck of the wood after all, and I reckon it's wise we stay on the garrison's good side. The best way you can repay their hospitality, though, is to make our tanks as good as they can be. The protection we give to the merchant caravans will mean one less headache for the soldiers to worry about. There you are, any luck with those beard care supplies?
Here's some scissors.
Valio, I will turn my whiskers back into lush silky strands where they're meant to be. No more hair-based distractions for me. Back on Colusia with all the time in the world to care for our beards. Since we set up our workshop here though, grooming has taken second place to all this frenzied tank business. Still, even if our beards do look a bit bedraggled, it's because of how hard we've been working.
And steel plates. Lots of steel plates for you.
Perfection. With this we can produce even more sheets than we were before, and that means more metal for everyone. We use the sheets for everything, from our helmets to our homes to our tanks. We will never be without a need for them, or for your expert hand.
So yeah, we're crafting for the dwarves. And that's, I would say, the first run of a Dwarven beast tribe. Until next time then, when we play more Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Mace and don't get lost.